Manchester after dark, a city where the beats never stop, the lights never dim, and the energy is palpable. But beneath this electrifying surface lies a tale of power, ambition, and betrayal. This is the story of the Nunan Brothers, the gangsters who ruled Manchester's underworld with an iron fist. In a sprawling family of 14 siblings, 3 emerged to dominate Manchester's criminal landscape: Damien, Desi, and Dominic Noonan. Their journey from humble beginnings to notorious crime lords is a saga of ambition, loyalty, and inevitable downfall. Born and raised in Whalley Range, a working-class area of Manchester, the Noonan brothers, Damien, Desi, and Dominic, grew up in a household where survival was a daily struggle. Their Irish heritage was evident not just in their names, but also in their unyielding spirit and resilience. In a family of 14, resources were scarce and opportunities even scarcer. The Noonans quickly learned that to rise above their circumstances, they needed to be resourceful and at times ruthless. Their entry into the world of crime began with armed robbery, a common path for criminals seeking to escape the grip of poverty. The late 1970s and early 1980s were turbulent times for Manchester, marked by economic hardship and social unrest. It was in this environment that the Noonans honed their criminal skills, learning the intricacies of street life and building the foundation for their future dominance. Early on, the brothers distinguished themselves with their boldness and strategic thinking. Their ability to execute high-stakes robberies without leaving a trace drew the attention of both the criminal underworld and law enforcement. The Noonans were not just participants in the city's crime scene, they were shaping it. Their initial successes in armed robbery provided the capital needed to expand their operations. With each successful heist, their reputation grew, attracting like-minded individuals who were eager to join their burgeoning empire. The family's tight-knit bond and shared vision were pivotal in their ascent, fostering an environment where loyalty was paramount and betrayal was swiftly dealt with. As Manchester transformed into the party capital of Europe during the acid house era of the late 80s and early 90s, the Noonans saw a lucrative opportunity. They shifted their focus to controlling the doors of the city's most popular nightclubs, including the legendary Hacienda on Whitworth Street. By managing who could enter, and more importantly, who could sell drugs inside, the Noonans established a monopoly over the nightclub scene. This strategic move not only solidified their power, but also significantly boosted their earnings, reportedly raking in up to £50,000 a night from the Hacienda alone. Controlling the club doors meant controlling the flow of narcotics, a goldmine that fueled Manchester's booming nightlife. The Noonans leveraged this control to expand their empire, diversifying into various illicit trades and ensuring their dominance was both profitable and feared. Their grip on the nightlife wasn't just about money, it was about power. The ability to decide who could party in Manchester gave them significant influence over the city's youth culture and the broader social scene. The clubs became not only places of entertainment, but also strategic hubs for their operations, where deals were made and their network was strengthened. The Noonans' involvement in the nightlife scene also provided a veneer of legitimacy. By investing in legitimate businesses and engaging in community activities, they masked their illicit activities, making it harder for authorities to target their operations without raising suspicions. However, their control over the nightlife attracted both admiration and resentment. Rival gangs saw the Noonans as gatekeepers of the city's party scene, and challenges to their authority were met with swift and often brutal responses. This ongoing tension set the stage for future conflicts that would test the resilience of the Noonan empire. Rival gangs, recognizing the Noonans' stranglehold on the nightclub scene, sought to carve out their own territories and disrupt the Noonans' operations. These rival factions aimed to open their own clubs, bypassing the Noonans' control or infiltrate existing establishments to steal profits and influence. In response to these threats, the Noonans employed a combination of intimidation, strategic alliances, and calculated violence to maintain their supremacy. One of their primary tactics was the deployment of their enforcers to patrol club areas, ensuring that any unauthorized activity was swiftly dealt with. These enforcers, led by Desmond Noonan, were notorious for their ruthless efficiency. They didn't hesitate to use violence to eliminate any perceived threats, sending a clear message to rival gangs that any challenge to their authority would be met with severe consequences. One significant incident occurred in 1992 when a rival gang attempted to open a new club in Salford, directly competing with the Noonans' established venues. The Noonans responded by orchestrating a coordinated assault on the rival establishment, leading to a violent confrontation that left several members of the opposing gang injured and effectively shutting down their operations. Beyond direct confrontations, the Noonans also employed psychological warfare to undermine their rivals. They spread rumors and misinformation to create distrust within rival gangs, causing internal strife and weakening their opponents from within. The strength of the Noonan Empire lay in the unique roles each brother played within the family's operations. Their combined skills and personalities forged a formidable alliance that was both respected and feared across Manchester's underworld. Damien Noonan, the strategist. Damien, often dubbed the UN peacekeeper of gangland Manchester, was the strategic mastermind behind the Noonans' operations. His ability to forge alliances with other gangs and maintain loyalty through generous community donations made him a respected figure both within the underworld and the broader community. Damien's leadership was characterized by a blend of charisma and tactical acumen, allowing the family to navigate the complex web of Manchester's criminal landscape. Damien's role extended beyond mere strategy. He was the face of the Noonans in the community, using philanthropy to mask their illicit activities and gain public favor. His donations to local causes earned him a semblance of legitimacy and protection, making it harder for authorities to crack down on their operations. Desmond Noonan, the enforcer. Desi, the muscle of the trio, was known for his ruthless enforcement. His intimidating presence ensured that any challenges to their authority were swiftly dealt with, reinforcing the brothers' iron grip on Manchester's nightlife. Desi's reputation as an enforcer was cemented by his involvement in numerous violent incidents, making him a feared figure among rivals and law enforcement alike. Desi's strength and willingness to use violence were instrumental in maintaining the Noonans' dominance. Whether it was dealing with rival gangs or punishing disloyal members, Desi's actions ensured that the Noonans remained unchallenged in their territory. Dominic Noonan, the charismatic entrepreneur. Dominic, the brain behind the operations, was both cunning and charismatic. His entrepreneurial spirit led the brothers to diversify their activities, venturing into various illicit trades beyond just drugs and extortion. Dominic's ability to innovate and adapt was crucial in maintaining the family's relevance and profitability in a rapidly changing criminal environment. Whether it was setting up legitimate businesses as fronts or orchestrating complex criminal schemes, Dominic ensured that the Noonan Empire remained resilient against both internal and external threats. Dominic's versatility allowed the Noonans to stay ahead of law enforcement and adapt to new opportunities, from running legitimate businesses that served as fronts for their illegal activities to developing new smuggling routes. Dominic's ingenuity kept the empire thriving even as challenges arose. With their stronghold in Manchester secure, the Noonans didn't stop there. They expanded their operations to other cities, leveraging their reputation to control new territories. Their network extended into Salford and beyond, making them a formidable force in the UK's criminal underworld. Their influence was not just limited to nightlife. They were involved in narcotics trafficking, armed robberies, and even blackmail, ensuring their empire was both diverse and resilient. The Noonans adeptly navigated the shifting dynamics of the criminal world, forging strategic alliances with other notorious gangs and expanding their reach across the nation. The Noonans' expansion was marked by calculated moves and strategic partnerships. They allied with other powerful gangs, ensuring that their operations were protected and their profits maximized. This network of alliances made it difficult for rival gangs to challenge their dominance, as the Noonans had the backing of multiple influential figures in the underworld. Their ability to operate across multiple cities meant that the Noonans could move their illicit goods with greater ease and evade localized law enforcement efforts. This national reach not only increased their profits, but also made them a significant target for coordinated police operations. However, The Noonans' expansion also attracted increased scrutiny from law enforcement agencies. Multi-city operations required sophisticated intelligence gathering and collaboration between different police departments, making it harder for the Noonans to maintain their operations without interference. Despite these challenges, the Noonans remained resilient. Their tight-knit brotherhood and strategic alliances allowed them to weather the storms brought by rivalries and law enforcement crackdowns. Their ability to adapt and diversify their operations ensured that the Noonan Empire remained a dominant force in the UK's criminal underworld for years. But no empire is unassailable. In 2003, tragedy struck when Damien was killed in a motorcycle accident while on holiday in the Dominican Republic. Official reports cited blunt trauma as the cause of death, but whispers of foul play lingered in the shadows. Damien's death was a severe blow to the family's leadership. Known for his strategic mind and ability to mediate conflicts, his absence left a void that was hard to fill. The loss of such a pivotal figure destabilized the family's operations and morale. Just 2 years later, in March 2005, Desi met a violent end at the hands of a crack dealer known as Yardie Derek McDuffus in Chorlton. Desi's death marked not just the loss of the family's enforcer, but also the beginning of the end for the Nunan dynasty. Desi's funeral had all the pomp of a gangland don, but for those in the know, it was almost a last gasp of their power. Paddy Doherty, a friend of Damien's, later remarked, "The minute Damien died, they weren't half as powerful as they thought they were. He was the gangster of gangsters in Greater Manchester." Desi's murder wasn't just a random act of violence. It was a calculated move by rivals who saw an opportunity to weaken the Noonan hold on Manchester's underworld. With two of the three brothers dead, the foundation of their empire began to crumble. The sudden loss of Damien and Desi led to internal strife and power struggles within the Noonans' network. Rival gangs sensed weakness and began to challenge their authority, leading to a series of violent confrontations that further destabilized the family's operation. Moreover, the emotional toll on Dominic Noonan was immense. Losing two brothers not only affected the leadership structure, but also shook the very core of the family's unity and resolve. As the empire teetered on the brink of collapse, the Noonans faced mounting pressure from both law enforcement and rival faction. The once unshakable dynasty now found itself vulnerable and fragmented, setting the stage for its eventual downfall. With Damien and Desi gone, Dominic Noonan found himself at the helm of the family's crumbling empire. However, his reign was short-lived and fraught with challenges. Already serving time for offenses such as arson, blackmail, and perverting the course of justice, Dominic's darkest secret began to surface. For years, rumors swirled around Manchester's criminal underworld about Dominic being a predatory sex offender with a predilection for young boys. Despite his infamy, it wasn't until May 2018 that Dominic was finally convicted of 13 historical offenses against 4 young boys, aged as young as 10. This conviction, alongside his previous sentences, ensured that Dominic would spend the majority of his life behind bars. Dominic's downfall was not just a result of his criminal activities, but also his inability to shield his darkest deeds. The revelation of his heinous crimes shattered any remaining semblance of respect he held, leading to his ultimate incarceration. But Dominic's troubles didn't end there. Even after his conviction, his legacy continued to cast a long shadow over Manchester. Former detective Rick Mortimer revealed in an employment tribunal that police had long suspected Dominic of abusing young boys, but were stymied by lack of evidence and internal dismissiveness. Mortimer recounted how he and his colleagues watched as Dominic manipulated and groomed young boys, but bureaucratic inertia and reluctance to act allowed Dominic to continue his reign of terror unchecked for years. Dominic's ability to evade justice for so long speaks volumes about the challenges law enforcement faced in dismantling the Noonans' deeply entrenched network. His eventual downfall was a hard-won victory for those determined to see the Noonan legacy erased from Manchester's underworld. Law enforcement agencies, recognizing the Noonans' extensive network and influence, ramped up their efforts. Coordinated raids, enhanced surveillance, and inter-agency cooperation were employed to systematically dismantle the remaining structures of the Noonan Empire. Dominic's conviction was not just the fall of a single man, but a significant blow to organized crime in Manchester. The rise and fall of the Nunan Brothers is not just a story about gangsters and crime. It's a reflection on family, ambition, and the human cost of power. As Manchester continues to evolve, the shadows left by the Noonans remain a stark reminder of a bygone era that shaped the city's underworld. The legacy of the Nunan Brothers is a complex tapestry of power, violence, and tragedy. Their rise showcased the lengths to which individuals would go to control and dominate, while their fall highlighted the fragility of criminal empires. Their story serves as a cautionary tale about the seductive allure of power and the inevitable consequences of a life steeped in crime. The Noonans left an indelible mark on Manchester's underworld, influencing future generations of criminals and shaping the city's approach to organized crime. Even after their empire crumbled, the echoes of the Noonans' reign continue to resonate. Their rise and fall have left lessons for law enforcement, policymakers, and communities on the destructive nature of unchecked ambition and the importance of resilience against criminal influences. The Noonans not only disrupted the criminal landscape, but also left scars on the communities they operated within. Their ability to manipulate both the underworld and legitimate enterprises exposed vulnerabilities in societal structures and highlighted the need for comprehensive strategy to combat organized crime. As Manchester continues to grow and change, the lessons learned from the rise and fall of the Nunan brothers serve as a blueprint for combating organized crime. Their saga is a testament to the resilience of both the criminal underworld and the communities striving to overcome its influence. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the hidden histories that shaped our world. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think was the most pivotal moment in the Noonans' rise and fall? Until next time.